I'll
There you
go
go.
first. I'll go first. Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mongoose Gaming. We're here with the Real Super Geeks, and we're live on my channel, Justin.
We are live on the Real Super Geeks Twitch, and if you want your comments shown on the screen, you can come over here and ask your questions, joke around. We also have our Real Super Geeks YouTube, and we are live on Facebook. So any one of those three, if you want your comments shown on the stream, please come to one of those Twitches.
We're not live on Live Love Play because I'm not at my PC because I'm in the sister location tonight.
Knocking.
Literally the sister location, so it works
Yes.
out perfectly for that.
Yes,
Yeah.
the sister-in-laws, yes.
Yes.
That's
All
the
right.
joke.
If we are ready to go, we will get this party started. And let me throw the intro countdown in. And 3, 2, 1. And make sure we're shared into the Real Super Geeks group. Somebody, great. Alrighty.
And welcome to the Real Super Geeks podcast. On this, the 14th of... That threw me for a loop there. The 14th of May, 2022. My name is Ross, Live, Love, Play, the Eyebrows of Doom himself, coming to you live from the sister location tonight. But let's not let that slow us down. Let's roll into the show for tonight. We got some good topics going. We got Star Trek, we got Halo, we got Dune, we got Cowbell.
More of
Greg, why don't you tell us what's on the Trello for tonight?
Okay, on the yes, on our trailer for tonight, we will be reviewing Star Trek: Strange New Worlds Episode 2, Children of the Comet, Halo Episode 8, Allegiance, the penultimate episode, season finale next week. We'll discuss the new Orville trailer, and then for some of our fun topics. For some of our fun topics, we do have Call of Duty's new Warzone DLC. Operation Monarch is absolutely amazing. You get to fight. If you played Warzone, you're playing Warzone. However, you have to avoid Kong and Godzilla fighting each other on the map. As you're fighting each other, you have to take a team. So are you going to attack Godzilla or attack Kong? And then use the Titans to attack the other teams. It is actually very much intense and very much fun to avoid 100-meter Titans. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I saw some gameplay on that. It looked pretty damn fun.
It is a lot of fun. We have Netflix dropped their first teaser for the Resident Evil show. It starts off present day, but then shoots very quickly to 2036, where of course, what else could go wrong but the T virus getting out? It's set to debut. I forgot the date here. I believe in July. So we'll be looking forward to that. Anyone else looking forward to this? You get a chance to look at the teaser.
Well,
Yes,
it's a
holy
Resident
shit.
Evil story, so I mean, what do you expect is going to happen?
I mean, come on. Look at our group of Motley Crew here. Of course we've
It's
seen
not
it.
no Resident Evil story is about a lovely day at a picnic.
I mean, what do you expect? They're going to stroll through the park and they hold hands and sing kumbaya. I mean, it's Resident Evil. They're going to get killed before they walk out their fucking front door.
Exactly.
There's one exception to this in the Resident Evil universe.
Mm-hmm.
That is Code Veronica.
Ah.
I'm very interested to see where this show deviates from what Resident Evil has done before. It's a Netflix series, so they've got to do something different, something new.
Yeah.
They can't just rehash the game and expect it to be well received.
And it'll likely only be one season on Netflix.
Well, yeah.
And we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so definitely looking forward to that. It does look really, really good. And not that any Resident Evil is different, but they hit you in the face with Umbrella Corporation the entire trailer. So it's looking good. For our
Hello,
next
Brenda.
Well, Raccoon
hi,
City
Brenda.
was a company town. Umbrella owned pretty much everything.
Yeah. And for our next topic, this one will take us a few minutes. We'd like to go into this one. Dune Part 2 has cast its Emperor Shaddam IV. Get ready for more cowbell. Christopher Walken, the legend himself, joins the cast as the Emperor of the Universe. Casting was announced 2 days ago. Denis Villeneuve has announced that they will begin filming in July of this year. They intend to keep the October release date of next year going. Joining Walken will be Florence Pugh as Princess Irulan and Austin Butler as Fade Routha. We have our Fade.
Nice.
Austin Butler, if you don't know who he is, he was in the Shannara Chronicles for its 3-season run, I believe.
For those of us who nerd.
Yes,
Awesome.
Leia remembered him. She's like, he looks really familiar with like Shannara Chronicles. So we're talking about the big announcement here that we have Shaddam. We're going to start with Raul on this one. Your thoughts on Walking being cast as the Emperor of everything?
I never thought that the Emperor of the Universe would have a Brooklyn accent, but hey, it is what it is. I really like Walken as a serious actor. I mean, we mentioned it before the show, but Deer Hunter is probably one of my favorite movies of all time, and he is excellent in it. So I definitely believe that he can pull this off. It's a heavyweight role because Shaddam is the big bad guy in the first book. So you will see Walken do things he has never done before on film. Very cruel things, which is interesting.
I don't know. He was pretty cruel as Gabriel in the prophecy.
He was.
Oh, yeah.
So
snarky too. I don't think he's going to be snarky as the Emperor. Emperor's too grand for that.
We'll see.
From how Leia described the Emperor, I feel Walken can really fill the role nicely. Egocentric, very much he's the center of the universe, that kind of attitude.
Yeah, the universe pivots on the Emperor's court. So
here's the thing you got to remember about the Emperor. He's not just an emperor. He's also a CEO. He has the controlling stock of the CHOAM Corporation, which is the international trade of the galaxy. So not only is he the God-ordained ruler of all things, he also owns everything.
Okay, fair enough.
So why didn't they hire Elon Musk instead?
Because Elon Musk can't act.
Because they want someone to portray a fictional character.
Oh,
true. Yeah,
they don't want the real life Palpatine.
So one casting I'm interested. One casting I'm actually kind of interested to see because I know Walken can play a bad guy. Florence Pugh, she could do no wrong. Having seen the Shannara Chronicles and Austin Butler having a very short resume, his character Will he played in the Shannara Chronicles was very down to earth, very much a good guy. Now he looks very much like he could play Fade. He's got that look to his face looks like he could play Fade. But to see him transition over from playing a very mellow character to someone like Fade, who is very much Rabban, but more tactical, more strategic, is going to be interesting.
That's a bit of a mischaracterization. Fade is a scalpel, and his personality reflects that. Where Rabban is a bloodthirsty beast,
yes,
the beast Rabban.
He's a beat stick, in other words.
Rabban's the blunt instrument. Fade, he is more calculating, he's ambitious, but he's also a lot more cunning than Rabban is. With time and experience, he could be as cunning as his uncle, the Baron. And I'm looking forward
in a different way.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get that attempted assassination that we get in the book.
I will also say, Ross, that Fade has a sensuality about him that is lacking from a lot of the villains in Dune. So I think this is a good choice, to be honest.
So I'm not the only one who
wants. The Baron did, but that's before he got, extremely morbidly obese.
Sure.
So am I the only one who wanted Sting back for Fade?
No. I mean, yes.
No.
With that song and everything.
Unfortunately,
you are the only one who wanted Sting back. Sting was.
So that's our Dune news. So we will
Sting was
again
half
that
a
hits.
dimensional character.
Dune is on a tight schedule. However, they do start filming in July. They open October 23. Denis Villeneuve is adamant of keeping that date, but I wouldn't be surprised if they push it because they took their time with Dune. They will need to take their time with Dune Part 2 if they really wanted to continue the story, as it's going to be a trilogy. And if it's going the way it sounds like, Dune 2 will be the Empire Strikes Back of Dune. So we'll see how that
Yes
goes.
and no. It's also the more mystical part of the journey. It takes place during the second part of the novel, and
Yeah.
so this I think this will attract a lot more fans because there's really a lot of meat to this substance.
Kind of like Empire Strikes Back. Oh,
Well, we're also going to get a lot more of Zendaya in the sequel,
yes.
Yes.
and
Leia told me she plays a huge role.
now that people have seen what Dune is in the first part, it is going to bring a lot more people into the second. People were
So-
really worried that Villeneuve wouldn't be able to pull off the grand scope of what Dune is and have it feel authentic, and it being a big colossal mess like the original film.
Well, the original film suffered because Lynch is an egomaniac. Let me just say it. I'll just say it right up front.
And he rushed the second half of the film, which is now coming out as a second movie.
Yeah.
So there we have it, folks, for Dune. Again, Walken will be the Emperor. Moving on to our reviews now, we're going to jump in head first and get a little bit of chuckle the way Spock gave us. Strange New Worlds, Children of the Comet. Ross, your recap as always.
All right, so we pick up mostly where we left off. The Enterprise is out on its next 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilization, and boldly go where no one has gone before. And Pike fills this role excellently. But the focus of this episode is not on Pike. In fact, it's not on a senior officer at all.
What the hell happened?
Whoa, whoa. What happened? Hold on. Technical difficulties, folks.
Yeah, sorry. We kind of had a glitch in the matrix. Apparently, my internet decided to spin itself. Spin it.
Continue on, Ross, please.
All right.
Let me see if I can get back into the groove there. I had a good rhythm going.
I'm sorry.
The focus of this episode was not on a senior officer at all. In fact, it was on likely the, not lowliest, but certainly one of the most junior members of this crew, Cadet Nyota Uhura.
Lower decks, you would say?
Oh.
No.
Can we skip the introduction?
This was a Tilly episode.
And son gets ejected from the ship. No.
All right, let's let Ross go ahead.
The Enterprise, in the course of some minor downtime, we get something that we haven't seen in Star Trek for a while, something that was introduced in Enterprise, and I'm glad to see it carry over into the 23rd century. Dinner in the captain's cabin, where the captain we never saw that in TNG outside of Picard and Beverly having dinner together. But we have an informal setting in the captain's quarters. The captain and others are preparing food, everyone getting together and talking about the state of the ship and getting to know each of the officers. It was a wonderful thing to see that we've almost never seen in the other shows. Really, I think we only really saw it in DS9. Anyway, I'm getting off track. The object that they're observing, a comet.
We got to see our first blind actor playing a blind role on Star Trek.
We'll get to that role. We'll get to that.
The comet that has caught their fascination is on the course for a collision to a nearby planet. The Enterprise goes to investigate, to divert this comet, but their efforts are thwarted by a force field. What kind of comet has a force field? The investigation continues. Spock, La'an, and Uhura, and Samuel Kirk beam down to find out what's going on. Meanwhile, the Enterprise is confronted with the Shepherds, a ship and a civilization that guide and guard these comets, which they have a name for, which escapes me at the moment. Conflict rises as these shepherds hold these comets as sacred, and the landing party an affront. The landing party is trapped on the comet as a shield is up, and everyone is desperately trying to find a way out, and the burden falls solely on Uhura, who is unsure of herself. She's not sure if Starfleet is where she's supposed to be, where she needs to be. But in time, through trial and error, luck, and sheer force of will, they find that this comet communicates via music. And through some experimentation, they find a way to lower the shields and free themselves. But the Shepherds are still on the trail of the Enterprise. Their weapons are powerful, their technology advanced. But they are not heartless or evil, and their zealotry is broken by compassion. Pike uses this to his advantage. Spock manages to divert the comet with the knowledge that they've gained, and everyone separates on good terms. And so the Enterprise continues its voyage. So, what did you guys think of the episode? Raul, you had some stuff to say. Let's hear it.
Yes. Well, first, I like I was mentioning, it was beautiful to see a visually impaired actor playing a visually impaired character for the first time on Star Trek history, and the character is very interesting. Again, another chief engineer who is visually impaired, but this time he's assisted by, of course, his racial abilities to see more than he could naturally. Very interesting character. I'm can't wait to see more about him. Another aspect I like about the episode is that it is about life and the sanctity of life, and how different cultures weigh that sanctity. Um, uh, this comet is a cedar. It's basically how many scientists view our life here on Earth. That we were seeded by comets and carrying water to our planetoid, and it was an interesting way to introduce the concept to the masses, and it was interesting to see something akin to like Tin Man in the original TNG episode. That this is something older than we would ever expect, and still in action in the universe. Amazing kind of presentations. The standouts, of course, are the Spock, the actor. I'm forgetting his name, but he portrays Spock
Ethan Peck.
100% accurately. Thank you, Greg.
You're starting to lag, Raul.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me try that.
While Raul's getting set up, Ross is Mahani. Mahani.
That's not all of them. That's just that particular comet. Was that his name?
Uncounted ones across the galaxy.
I think the show introduced a lot of concept in a very packed episode that was very good. The acting chops of everybody was on par. I still say, and I called it when he was on Discovery. This is the best captain we've seen ever on Star Trek.
Picard.
Wrong.
No. He is the best captain by far.
In your opinion, yes.
In my opinion, well, that's all we have here.
Yep. Another thing we should note real quick that there was no CGI aliens. The aliens in this episode was 100% prosthetic, and
even the guy on the view screen.
Yes, 100%
he
prosthetic.
was prosthetic. He was enhanced with CGI, but it was prosthetic.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think the set he was on was CGI because they're doing the AR wall thing there. So, yes.
Raul, anything else to add?
Not really. I would like to hear the other hosts what they have to say about it.
All right, Greg, let's hear from you.
Overall, like the episode, this Strange New Worlds is on a very good start to where it can do no wrong at the moment. I was a little meh with the whole harmonics thing. Now, granted, Uhura figuring it out, that's way up her alley. Um, I there's just so much, like, there's just the character development in this episode really rivals that of TNG and DS9. It really, really does.
I mean, episode
Um,
2 already, and look what they've done. I mean, it's
we
fucking
have
amazing.
we have Uhura. We had Uhura fleshed out twice. The Kelvin movies did a great job of fleshing out that particular Uhura. This episode gave us the Uhura where Pike asked her, well, like, what brought you to Starfleet? Why are you Starfleet? She goes, well, I don't know. She goes, I'm here because of a tragedy. She lost her family. So that Starfleet was basically all she could do with her life, and if she doesn't know if she wants to stick with it, and I love Pike's answer, you'll figure it out. But I do love the whole captain's mess setting. That was I just made the comment. That was a barbecue. He had ribs. It was a barbecue. um, I do love the whole them talking it out. Ortega's messing with her. That was great. Um, but I like the way it progressed. Spock, we got a little chuckle from Ethan Peck, which I think was very much Spock. It was a very good little chuckle. Uhura living Uhura's advice, you gotta laugh when things are going so bad.
Emo
Um,
Spock. We get emo Spock. Yay.
I liked this particular message at the end with the shepherds. So they kept the shepherds were like, "This is preordained. This comet is going to happen. This is what's going to happen." And then, of course, at the end, Spock breaks apart the comet, but like it was doing that. Like the comet helped Spock himself break it apart. Like it was preordained. So the shepherds come back with a message. I put it here in our Trello. The shepherds come back with, "Do not always have to interfere with what you don't understand." And this is where I'll give Raul the nod of Pike being a great captain. Pike stands there and is like, "Shit," It's like the shepherds weren't totally. They're not evil. They're just that's just what
They're
that
not
was
evil.
happening. And I like the message that it hinders back to when McCoy says, "Why does anything we don't understand always called a thing?" So I like the shepherd's message that is saying you don't have to always interfere. It's like life will happen this way. Life evolves this way. Um,
Although
mhm,
their interference is what was preordained.
fair enough, right? And so the shepherds. We probably won't see them again this season, but that's a really good one-off species, much like the oh my god from Darmok that species.
The
Uh, oh my god,
Came,
Talaran.
yeah, to Lauren.
yes,
But they came back in Lower Decks.
Tamaran. There we go.
yes,
Marin.
yeah, they did come back in Lower Decks, yeah. But the episode was really fun. I have to say there was a very much a shift from La'an in the first episode to La'an in this episode. She was very much I know she was doing her job. I was like in this episode she's very much her there is conflict between her and Uhura. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens because every time Uhura was trying to figure something out, you see La'an just give her that look, and even Uhura's like, "Do we have a problem here?" So it's going to be interesting to see if there is going to be a conflict there because La'an needs to realize, yes, she's a cadet. You were a cadet too. I think we're going to have that thing happen where La'an's going to come down on her and then Uhura's going to hit her with, "Hey, you were a cadet once too." Um, and also, Ortegas is giving Tom Paris a run for the money as best
Mm-hmm.
pilot in Star Trek.
So far,
Um,
yeah.
The
um,
Enterprise isn't necessarily a nimble ship, but holy
No.
crap, did she do it?
So, as far as best pilots in Starfleet go, we have Tom Paris, we have Ortegas, we have Dax, who piloted the Defiant from time to time. We have Gordon Malloy in the Orville. I mean, so
No,
the Star Trek
no,
pilots,
no, 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 no,
until,
no, no, no.
but that's my thoughts as an episode going strong. Strange New Worlds is off to a really, really good start. So, and I like that we can't predict next week's episode.
I
We're just gonna,
love it. I
yes,
fucking love that. I
we're
mean,
just
it's
there.
like it's not some dumb storyline where you're going to have a kid screaming in a nebula at the end, or it's very it leaves you guessing calm down, Ross. Calm down, Ross. It's for a point. It's for a point. It's okay.
I also like seasonal themes,
Well,
but
here's the
it
thing.
is refreshing to go back to the original formula.
Okay,
Yeah.
here's the thing. This is what Disco didn't learn from DS9. DS9 was in the Dominion Wars, the serialized arc. We still couldn't predict it. Like you watch one episode, you didn't predict what's happening next one because again, it was still episodic.
Right.
But yeah, so
Mm.
that's my take on it. So we can have Justin or Son if you want to flip a coin. Who goes next?
I'll go.
Let's hear from
Okay,
Sud
Justin.
next.
Oh,
Okay.
Son.
No, you all go first because I have 2 episodes to catch up on.
All right,
We only
Justin.
have time for one review.
Yeah,
One
but
review. Yeah. Okay. So, good God, where do I start with such an amazing
from the
episode?
beginning.
Holy shit! I mean, what I'm loving about this series is it keeps you glued. There's no dull moment. It keeps you engaged the entire thing. You can't really guess what's going to happen next because it's not predictable. And and I really hope they keep this formula going forward with the show because it works. It got me excited again. I mean, with Disco, it was okay, yeah, it's great. With Picard, it was it was all right, especially at the end. But I mean, now this is what they should have done with Discovery. This is what they should have done. Yeah, I mean, Picard is his own thing. That's fine. But this is what they should have done with Discovery at the start because this is awesome. This is what got people hooked to Star Trek originally was, the wonder, what are they going to do next week? Not, oh, doom and gloom every episode. Must save universe. Let's figure out what the big bad's going to do next. Oh, it's Tarka. Oh, okay. Oh, and look, it's Harry Mudd. I mean, it's the randomness doing here and character development. I mean, we're 2 episodes in. Or 2 episodes into the character development alone is far superior to what we've seen so far. I mean, my God, we already know the crew. Like Discovery, we were halfway into season 3 before you got to know half of them. I mean, this is what they should have done from the get go. Honestly, let's see here. I think we're going to have a bit of rivalry with her and what's her name?
La'an.
On okay, and I think there's gonna be rivalry there. But that's they kind of need that. So it'll be fun to see how that play out. I mean, it just was phenomenal. Um, but yeah, I think I also agree with the assessment about the helm. He's going to get Tom Bader's run for the money, definitely. I would kind of like to see something though as kind of a nod to the original. I would like to see her Horace grandmother being a show Nicole so they can actually get her on
That
or
would be
like
interesting.
a video call or something. I know she's not great help. I mean, if they can get her to do a few minutes where that would be a great nod. I think for sure. Kind of a silent handoff in a way, not like what they do with Prime Spock and John. But I mean, it'll be fun. But yeah, this is a fun episode. Can't wait to see what's next week. And as we said, no prediction because this is the way Star Trek should be, not predictable. All right, who wants to go next? Ross?
Well, Sun said she wants to go last, so I guess I'll go next.
Okay.
Wow. This was a phenomenal episode of Star Trek. It was the alien of the week done right. The formula that Voyager just exhausted, the template that Enterprise failed at, the core of what TOS was that has been renewed and remade in Strange New Worlds. We have an unknown event, one that, like Justin said, was relatively small scale. We have a mysterious alien species. We have a mystery on the planet, and we have the threat of the extinction of life on a planet. We have stellar but relatively low scale consequences.
Oh.
And but with intense stakes, danger, excitement, adventure. This episode was an adventure.
And a red shirt getting its ass kicked, mainly saved
Didn't
for.
die though. Didn't
It
die.
wasn't, it wasn't a red shirt. I wonder if they're
So-
going to make this a running theme.
Some of the things that I noticed, the alien entity machinery on the comet responds to sound. Do any of you remember a ancient mystery that responded to sound in TOS?
Didn't they do something like that with the animated series too?
Preservers.
The Preservers.
Ooh, I wonder if they're going to do a preserver arc.
Maybe it would be nice to redeem that subtly racist episode with the
Yeah.
Native Americans. But I love when communication kind of goes a different way. They're looking for something that's analogous to speech, but in fact, it's just variations of pitch. And as a music guy myself, I love that. I love that Uhura is humming to try and focus herself. I love that it's just little things like that that bring a mystery together. The shepherds
This
were really
was also a
interesting.
setup for something else later, Ross. And that would
Absolutely.
be Uhura and Spock singing in TOS.
Mm-hmm. There, lost my train of thought there.
All right.
Singing, communications, of the shepherds. They were very interesting, stubborn alien of the week. How they were willing to talk. They were willing to reason, to try and let someone understand them before shooting right away. They weren't necessarily hostile, but they were protective. It's a kind of opponent that we haven't seen in Star Trek very often, or at least we haven't seen done well very often. The dinner at the captain's table, perfection. I love everything about it.
That was really
Um,
good.
Last time I saw anything close to it was in Harry fucking Potter with Slughorn.
Oh God.
Uhura's development was amazing. I'm so glad that we're getting an opportunity to flesh out this character. I love seeing the banter between Nurse Chapel and Spock. Poor Sam. Poor
Mhm.
Sam.
I wonder if this is going to be a running gag throughout the
As you
series.
said,
I mean, just
I don't
seeing
know. They've got
uh,
to give him some development as well, and they can't have just him getting hurt every episode.
well, isn't Sam?
The EV suits were a very nice update to the TOS EV suits, but the shapes were all there. From the weird chest mount integrated into the suit, it literally was a redesigning glow up of that
The
original design.
shuttlecraft, the fucking shuttlecraft, the interior of the shuttlecraft, it even has little viewer globe thing that the old one had. And, I mean, they took such care on making sure it looked good. I mean, holy shit!
Yes, Spock's pep talks. There
Oh
was so
God.
much that was, and I also like how, despite this episode being very episodic, as you said, that certain themes carry forward.
Yeah,
Pike's acute awareness of his mortality and how that affects him at odd moments, like when
and
he
he
asked Uhura,
knows
where do you
everybody's.
see yourself in 10 years? And he stops because he knows exactly where he's going to be in about
Mhm.
10 years. And it trips him up, and you see that, and like, ooh, you feel for this guy. He knows that something very bad is going to happen to him, and that he, for all intents and purposes, will die and be in a state of near death and confined to a chair. He doesn't know what's going to happen after that, though. It makes his character very interesting. It's a stark contrast between the bubbling optimism that Pike has, that I don't think we've seen very often in Star Trek captains. Sisko was a very dour captain, despite moments of joviality. Picard was very stiff and formal. Kirk was a cowboy, but
Space pirate.
but he had a kind of swashbuckling energy that wasn't necessarily optimistic. Janeway was absolutely an explorer, but she was done a terrible disservice by her writers and was never given anything consistent. I think Pike kind of embodies that sense of exploration that we imagine these captains to have before the weight of reality and responsibility crushes them. And the fact that he's managed to hold on to that even in the face of incredibly certain death is amazing.
I would also like to say that certain leaders that we've had in history have had a very real sense of their mortality. Julius Caesar, FDR, several other leaders, and that has led them to be better leaders of men and women in times of extreme stress. And seeing this as a character in Star Trek as a leader is fantastic. It's very expansive of the series and what the possibilities can be.
It's like empathy might be a quality worth developing and holding on to as a good leader.
Yes,
Interesting concept, isn't it?
long overdue.
Yeah, the sets designs were amazing. And the effects all blended together very well. There's just so much to love about this episode. This is, as we keep saying, this is episode 2. What the hell is next?
Come on, Discovery, you need to take note of what Strange New Worlds is
Justin,
doing.
come on, keep it up, keep it up.
Let it go. Let it go.
Up, not down, up.
No, that's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I mean, Strange New Worlds has found the missing link. It's working. I mean, look at this. This is what Discovery should have been doing with its crew from day one.
Justin.
Well, we're retreading stuff. Let's hear from Sun.
So they started leaking all of the intro sequence and stuff weeks ago. And I specifically held off until the first episode. So when I watched it last Friday, I was experiencing the intro music for the very first time. That music has got elements of Halo, even Metroid in it. And it's kind of mind-boggling to have that there laced into the Strange New Worlds music, because at some point you're like, well, this sounds more Halo-ish than Star Trek, and then all of a sudden it changes and you're like, what? Wait, are we on Brine Star? What the hell is going on? And then you get the the typical, da, 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 and it's like, okay. I mean, I understand that you're like, this is a whole Strange New World thing, but like, there's so much other elements here, and it blew me away. I really enjoy it. The other thing is, I don't know, did you guys talk about this? The whole Star Trek trying to do their own Marvel thing at the beginning of episodes? You know how at the start of a Marvel movie, there's that whole comic book thing that revolves into Marvel, and now Strange New Worlds is doing that whole Delta thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
It's
cool.
like, it's like, okay, I guess you're trying to do this whole signature branding thing, CBS, Paramount. Okay.
Yeah.
They've always done it in a way.
This episode, the first episode was a really great introduction to all of the last season. The one thing that I kind of hold against it is you had to have been watching Discovery to understand what the hell's going on here. That's the one thing I will hold against that episode. Other
Not
than that,
really.
it's like really good.
I didn't think of that at all. Because it stood on its own. I mean, it just referenced what happened with Discovery and Red Angel, but I mean, the episode stood on its own, minus the Pike back and stuff. But I mean, the episode stood on its own. Everybody already knows what happened to Pike eventually. I mean, it's written. Well, maybe.
The second episode had a lot of technical stuff in it that was really, really great. Like they're actually trying really, really hard now to integrate the science that we've learned from TOS onward into what we have with Pike, like the deflectoring shields that we have on the Enterprise. It's not a giant fucking bubble around the ship anymore. It's like inches off of the hull now, which is like trying to create a fucking bubble of a force field would require a massive fucking amount of power. And so we have these little deflector shields that are just right off of the hull, so when something impacts it, and it displaces right off the right off the hull.
They did that in Star Trek Nemesis. That's when they started that.
Right, but it's taken a while for all of that to get there, though.
They did a Discovery too.
But we're also talking about a ship that, I mean, let's be honest, in TOS they had deflectors, not shields.
Mm-hmm.
So this is I guess an upgraded, modulated version, whatever the haters want to say about it being a different universe or whatever. But fine, I enjoyed this very much. Did anybody else think it was supposed to be the Orions, though? The Shepherds?
No,
not really.
Not even a
little. You didn't think that big circular round ass ship was an Orion ship?
No,
not even
that was not even that. It's a complete different design from what the Orions did.
Because I mean, like the whole Journey to Babel stick with circles on it, Orion ass ship. Does anybody remember that, or is it just me?
Yeah.
The only Orion ship I remember seeing was an Enterprise, and that was not a circular type ship. And then we see one, of course, in Discovery, but that's 1,000 years in the future.
There was one in TAS, but it was pink with wings, and they called it the Orion.
Yeah.
TAS.
Okay, maybe I'm the only person that remembers Journey to Babel.
I remember Journey to Babel, but the image we got on the screen was so low res it was hard to see anything. Kind of like the Gorn ship.
They did remaster all of that, though.
Okay, it's been a while since I've seen the remastered. I have to look at that again.
Yeah, it was like this weird stick ship with like round disc rings, almost like they stole it off of the Vulcan's ship, and then just made like something out of 2001: A Space Odyssey with like little bulbs and shit on it. So when this ship shows up with the big rings and like this stick in the middle, I'm like, oh, it's the Orions. No, it's not the Orions. Okay.
Actually,
and I was disappointed.
The Gorn ship, if I can find it here, I found a photo, and let me see if I can figure out how to get it on here without breaking everything. I'm going to do screen one, and I'm going to allow that, and we're going to share screen one, and I'm going to just over here, and we're going to bring that up here, and show on screen. That's the Gorn ship.
That's not what I'm talking about.
That's the remastered Gorn ship from the TOS remastered.
Talking about the Orion ship.
All right. So the Orion ship.
Well, continue, son.
Okay, so as much as Pike was questioning it, Shepherds was an apt name. As much as they were as much as they seemed zealous about their caretaking, they very much acted like a shepherd. They, they let the comet go on its way and they follow it, but at the same time, they are willing to defend it from anything they consider a threat, even if that threat is literally where the comet is going. Like if that planet had planetary defenses and was going to blow up that asteroid, I'm pretty sure they would have gone after the planet itself.
They said they'd follow the Mahat all the way to where it, even if it wanted to die on a planet, so they would fight the Mahani.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah,
that's why I said. That's why I said, is it an Orion ship?
Well, it's a little bit too different. Find a one that.
It's but if you listen to them, they think they believe that this is the last one. This is the last guardian of hundreds of guardians of life-bringing ships, entities, gods, whatever they want to call it. The way that they spoke, it was they were going to protect it with everything that they were because it was the last.
I didn't quite catch the one that when they said it was the last. I know that there was some fewer they said at one point, but not the last.
Yeah, they never said it was last. They did it was fewer.
Yeah, they mentioned there are others.
In this though, the you were right to recall Tin Man, Raul. It has so much of the elements of that episode without the need for a Betazoid. At the same time, a lot of it kind of reminded me of the 8472, species 8472. Not necessarily from the, big evil whatever the hell, but more along the lines of the ship itself kind of, or the whatever it is inside of the ship, responding to not just command given to it, but touch and sound and stimuli. I'll be honest. A lot of people have talked about this as a, it's the shepherds talk about it as a vessel that brings life. Enterprise, the Enterprise and Pike are worried about it bringing death. And okay, I'm just going to say it. This entire episode was weirdly appropriate given the current state of our judicial system and what's going on right now, because this was an allegory for abortion.
No. Absolutely not. No. Absolutely not.
Take it easy. It's all right.
Yeah, we won't touch that subject.
It was literally a singing egg. And you guys can go no all you want. In 20 years' time, that's what everybody will be saying.
Doubtful, but yeah.
We'll see.
Justin,
we'll see.
You want to throw the complaint email up there, Justin?
Well, one thing I do want to, are you anything else on?
I want to say that we've seen, I don't know if we have seen them before, but it's weird because the pre-warp species on the planet itself, it's so familiar looking and I can't place it. I don't know why.
They're
It looks
very reptilian
Well,
from the ridges
Yeah,
on
yeah.
their heads and the scales on their
Scales on their
skin.
arms. Yeah,
it makes
Yeah.
sense because they're a desert is a desert seeming planet that needs water, and that's what
hmm
the point was really. Who knows what they'll be in a few thousand years with that amount of water.
quite. It's quite possible that they could be just about anything.
And this is hardcore nitpicking. They were not properly classified. He said pre-warp. They are pre-industrial.
They're
Yeah.
They were
Because
misclassified.
they were using the what do you call it, Clin, to make paste.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's we're talking pretty primitive.
It's like pre-Iron Age, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah, I would say
anything.
I would say so.
Well, I mean, that's what the
Pre-warp.
that was the whole thing about the comet itself, was that even Pike himself admitted, bringing water to this planet would lead them into an industrial age,
Yeah, probably.
even if it
yes.
was a bronze age.
Someone said they seen those aliens in the background of one of the Discovery episodes. So I mean,
Possibly.
they've been known to do that before. I mean, we've seen Jim Hadar before Jim Hadar was a thing. So
Also, I don't know if this is on purpose or not, or if it's just one of the extras that they have lying around for the sole purpose of. Okay, so you remember how I had Mushroom Hat Guy for all of the Star Wars episodes that we were doing? Yeah, no. Has anybody noticed the weird kid at moments on the Enterprise that weirdly, vaguely looks like Anton Yelchin and then is not? Curly, ginger-haired kid who's in the background in a bunch of scenes.
that's because I think they've done that for nod. Because in the US movies, they used to have kids play background characters because they would build such a way to where
You're coming off real distorted, Justin.
Get to that. Get
Yeah,
close
my
to that mic,
internet.
Justin.
Is this any better? My internet.
Yeah.
Everybody's lagging. So, I don't know.
Any other thoughts, son?
Yeah, no, I think the Anton Yelchin extra guy is going to turn out to be the mushroom guy from Mandalorian season 1. He's going to be just like in a background shot in every episode at one point.
One final thought on Strange New Worlds before we wrap it up. The theme of this episode, the idea of predestination, I have a feeling this is going to be a recurring thing throughout this series, or at least for this first season, how it ties into Pike and his struggle with his inevitable mortality. It adds kind of a spiritual element to Star Trek that we haven't seen done well since the better parts of DS9. And I'm interested to see what they do with it.
I also agree with that assessment. I really like it. It's very interesting, and it adds a depth to Star Trek that's not as mechanical as we're used to seeing, which is great.
You can't fix it by bouncing the graviton particle beam off the main deflexor dish.
Or reversing the Heisenberg flow. The Heisenberg compensator.
Reverse the polarity. All right. Well, that will wrap up our discussion on Strange New Worlds. Let's move in to our second review of the night, Halo. Are we ready?
Greg had to step out for just a second, but if you want to go first, you have seen it, right, Russ?
Well, first is the recap.
Oh, go ahead and recap.
All right. I skipped last week's episode because I'm not that interested in Quan. Sorry to say.
Well, you didn't miss much.
I'll go back and catch it in the binge, but we pick up again with Master Chief and Mackie. Chief got laid. End of story. That's the recap, guys. Thanks for watching tonight.
Yeah,
You got something Ross didn't.
Oh. well,
So, all right, in all
most.
seriously now,
Yes.
we pick back up with Master Chief and the events on Reach. After touching the artifact and having his moment on the ring itself, and finding connection there with Mackie, Chief begins to try and trust her more, trying to find common ground with her, to find out what makes her special like him. He finally has someone who he connects with on a way he never has before. Not the Spartans, not Halsey, not anyone else, much less now that he's understood the true nature of the Spartan program and Halsey herself. And, oh, God damn it, Halsey.
Well, at least it wasn't Juan.
You're really living up to your namesake there. Well, good job. Good job. With Master Chief gaining some measure of trust with Mackie, he advocates for her that she needs to touch the artifact so they can find out where the Halo is, where the second artifact is, and how they can get to the ring before the Covenant does. But not all is working in tandem. The UNSC is growing more and more distrustful of the Master Chief and his newfound independence. Although they rely on him because they have no other choice, but the faith is shaken. Meanwhile, Halsey is orchestrating from the background, finding ways back into the system to get what she wants from the UNSC in order to further her nebulous goal of finding the next step for humanity, unsticking them. She hacks into the system using her daughter's credentials and confronts Mackie, confusing her, frightening her, enraging her, and seeding the seeds of doubt, where we find that Halsey's ambitions are not that dissimilar from the Covenant's, and that's fucking scary.
A little bit.
Little bit. Halsey also enacts Protocol Z, where she separates the remaining two Spartans from the UNSC chain of command. She now has direct control of two Spartans
That can take out the entire base.
that could possibly take down the entire base. Kai is independent from this control, and she is immobilized for it. Chief 2 is separating from this control, but in a satisfying and relieving heel turn, Cortana has had it with Halsey's shit and goes rogue just when she needs her most. She warns Chief about Protocol Z as he's taking Mackie to the artifact for the test. But Halsey's disabled the base comms. Nobody knows what's going on, and he has two fully armored Spartans gunning for him, and he has nothing. He tells Mackie to flee just as Miranda finally figures out it was Mackie who orchestrated the massacre of the frigate several episodes ago. This creates a perfect storm as Mackie, Miranda, and Captain Keyes are all in the test chamber. She's revealed to be a true Covenant agent. She's lost her trust. She's tased, and she loses her own faith in humanity. What little that John was able to reinstill with her. She touches the artifact. She sends a pulse to disable the base, tells John goodbye, breaks their link, and disappears. Next episode, The Fall of Reach.
Yeah, if people are gonna be like, oh, why'd you spoil it? It's in the trailer.
It's the inevitable. I called this after episode 1.
Okay, don't let Ross get too full of himself.
What can I say? Greg, what did you think of the episode?
This is my favorite episode of the season. Holy crap. I honestly think next episode is going to top it, but when I first found the artifact, that was one of my favorites. This penultimate one was great. The dynamic between Maki and John was played beautifully between the actor and actress. I forgot the actor's name, but Streamer does a great job. Um, and he does that great job of still the entire time. Everyone's like, "What is wrong with Chief?" And he even tells Maki he's on mission. He even though he's free from his emotion inhibitor from Halsey and he's independent, he is on mission. People just keep questioning him. It's like, nope. The second he's like, destroy the covenant, save humanity, and then she's like, what about after that? He's like, we'll find out. He's good to go. Um, but I absolutely love that Halsey is a very well done villain in terms of what we had in terms of like for villains from other movies, TV shows. Halsey's very much turning into a great villain. There's no empathy for her. There's no sympathy for her. She's very much like what Tarka could have been for Disco, and it's nerve wracking to watch her like that. And like you said, Cortana to the rescue. My girl came through. I knew when she first came online. I was like, she's gonna turn, not in the bad way. What I was thinking, but she's gonna turn on Halsey because she's AI. She's to her mission was to help John, but for Halsey and Cortana's like, no, I'm just gonna help John. um, but I love that Maki takes her only weapon out of her hand. Like after her and John connect, and she realizes that this isn't so bad. She takes the laser out of her hand, and I was like, wow. I was like, they got her to come around. A very well done redemption, and just they're studying, and they're like, okay, they're like they're gonna trust her because Chief trusts her, and then just she does what she was told to do. She runs, she tries to get help, and but Miranda figured everything out, just the right time, wrong place, and Maki just unfortunately gets found out. And yeah, this is definitely one for the books as to how a villain should be done, a redemption gone wrong. Um, goddamn, Kai 125, girl, you're my hero. Like holy she broke out of that and she comes to Chief's rescue. By far and away my favorite character of the series. Like by default it's John with Streeper's portrayal, but for me it's Kai. She is my favorite character. She has a great for the little time she has a great arc this season. And I love that at the end of the episode, Riz is is frozen. Like she has Chief
Yep.
right there, pull the trigger, and she freezes. And I think what's going to happen is that I don't know about Vanek, but I'm pretty sure Riz is going to come around to she can't shoot Chief, and they're going to obviously next episode we see Chief just absolutely balling out. So yeah, this was a great episode. I give this one a very much 4 to 5 hungry baby Grogu's. Um, yeah, but it's when Maki touches the artifact and sees John, and not even like a cue, see you out there, talk to you again. It's just goodbye, John, and then bam, that's it. And now we wait for the fall of. If the next episode is entitled "Fall of Reach," they miss an opportunity.
All right. Son, I know you aren't watching. Roll, I know you aren't watching. Justin?
I think just
Hang on
went
just
to
a
the
second.
bathroom.
Are you all right, Justin? Is the internet okay?
Yeah, it's fine. I'll be back in a second. Who wants to go next?
Well,
I'll go
you're the
next
only-
then.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
Oh, first off, my absolute favorite line from this episode. She's a deep cover agent. You expected to break 10 decades of indoctrination? I did. And the oh shit in their eyes when he said that. That was just chef's kiss. Perfect. She had just gotten done complaining that the old Master Chief that she knew would have just brutally ripped what information that she needed out of him, and that he's changed and that we can't depend on him anymore. And then he shows up, you don't control me anymore. The I need my brown pants look in the commissioner's face was just perfect. But even then, even saying that he's no longer under their direct control, they know and trust that he is on mission, that he He will see the task through to the end. He's just going to do it on his own terms now. And I really liked that. I love the Captain Keyes too. That they were just talking about that he can't suspect. He doesn't know. He would have told us by now. Well, guess what? He just told you. Oh, there was so much to like in this episode, and it's so frustrating that the entirety of the online discourse is on the Chief got laid.
Well,
Chief lost his virginity.
You know what's funny about that, Ross? I was like, the
What's
ones
that?
complaining are just mad because they don't got the same game that Master Chief does.
Right? No, here's how I took that scene.
They're just jealous that they can't connect with someone on the same way that Chief did with McKee.
Right. Here's how I took this scene, because we've all seen a sex scene in a show or movie. Okay, I took this scene as what it is. Okay, they had sex. Okay, moving on. That's how I took the scene.
But that's just the thing. It wasn't some gratuitous
yeah, exactly.
Night of just carnal release. This was an intimacy.
This was very much intimate. Yes,
it was a joining of two souls that were made for each other, and it was kind of artful in a way. And oh my God, Cortana's voyeuristic looking on with that look of total jealousy in her eyes.
Cortana, you're hot, but you're a holographic AI.
I mean, she's in John's head, so she's probably experiencing it right there with him. But
here, I got the perfect comparison. Hold on, I got the perfect comparison for John and McKee. That was Forrest Gump's sex scene right there. Nothing gratuitous. I'm not a smart man. I know what love is. And
oh my God!
Yeah. No, that's good. That's very good.
Because they both, John had never been with a woman, and McKee had never been with a man. So,
but
there you go.
More than anything, it was emotional.
It was very much emotional. It was definitely not a fling.
Well, we know it's not sloppy seconds.
Can you do the sound effect?
Here I am trying to convey the emotional depth of a scene.
I'm sorry, Ross. I'm sorry.
I'm not.
I'm doing
He's like 12 years old.
Let's let Ross finish that one. Let's let Ross.
If I had admin powers, I'd be dropping it right now, Justin. But there was so I'm kind of understanding why a lot of the more vocal people dislike this series, and I think it's the same reason a lot of people dislike Picard, because they went into this expecting a grand space opera adventure action show. And we get that sometimes, but it's primarily a human drama. It's Chief. It's Chief discovering his humanity, reconciling that with his purpose as a Spartan, but also exploring connections to other people in a way he hasn't done since he was a child, before he became a Spartan. And that's a direction I don't think anyone expected this series to take. And I'm growing to appreciate it more and more as I come to understand what the series is trying to do. And it's remarkably brave. You expect them to say, hey, we're going to do a Halo TV series. Oh, cool, action show where they blow up Covenant every episode. There have only been 2 battles with the Covenant in this series so far.
And right now it's 1-1. The Silver Team won the first one, and they got their asses handed to them the second time.
But that's really interesting that the balls on the production team going to the studio and saying, hey, we want to do this with Halo. I wonder how many people in that boardroom said, are you serious? That's what you want to do? No one's going to want to see this. And I really appreciate it. I think that's very interesting, and I wish more people could see it from that point of view instead of just whinging that it's not. Instead of just whinging that it's not what they wanted or expected from it.
Well, I mean, there was one, Halo story that we got through Halo, the video game, which, I mean, that almost never happens. I mean, they should have been realistic.
Is what I said.
All right. So, I mean, the way that they've done this is actually pretty good. Well, minus the, unneeded episode last. They're
going to do something with Quan, I'm sure.
Well, they got one episode to do it.
But the fights between the Spartans at the end, and Halsey. Yes. Halsey has a quality of a villain that was only kind of recently. It was actually yesterday. I was watching something on the Master, the main villain from the original Fallout game. There's something that he and Halsey have in common that I think makes for a very compelling villain: a hero complex. Halsey and the Master both believe that they are the best hope for humanity, for life in the galaxy. That their grand plan is the best and only option, and they're willing to do absolutely anything and everything to make it happen. The Master sacrificed hundreds of lives, both consuming them himself and transforming them into mutants. Halsey sacrificed every single personal relationship she ever had in order to create the Spartans, building a relationship with those Spartans, and then sacrificing those Spartans in turn. She was willing to sacrifice the chief, to have Cortana inhabit and control him, because now she has McKee. That's all she needs. And she is willing to burn any and all bridges she can to do it. And she is directly responsible for what happened in this episode.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I know. Hey, Greg, you'll get a chuck all this. I know what Quan's use is going to be. I know what the use is going to be. I figured it out.
All right, here we go.
I'm braced.
Ross, open your eyes.
Anyway, as for the rest of the episode, I really want to see Halsey's assistant get brutalized. I do not like that guy.
Well, I think we all do. If he doesn't die in the next episode, I'll be disappointed. That's the death we need. Like, keep Halsey alive. Kill her assistant.
I mean, I'd like to see Halsey, meet some type of a fate, but I want that fucking assistant to go in the most horrible way possible. Please.
When he tried to sexually assault the Halsey clone, that was the cincher.
Mm-hmm. Now, I hate to say this in this fashion with the actor, a beautiful job playing the role. But
absolutely.
Kill the character.
Yeah, folks out there, don't confuse the actor with the character, okay? The guy that played Dickless in Ghostbusters never was able to get over that.
Oh
my god, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh wow, there was so much. It's all coming to a head next week. It's going to be crazy. All right, Justin, let's hear what you think.
Holy shit! The amount of backstabbing that went on in this episode was astonishing. Already had a bonus, no Quan. Moved around, and people complaining about the text. Come on, seriously. I mean, did you not think those two were going to bang as soon as they met? I mean, seriously?
I didn't.
You're breaking up, Justin. Be careful.
I was like, it was pretty obvious. Last episode before that, when they both appeared in the ring, they looked like they almost wanted to bang right there. But anyways, there's a good episode, good pacing. I'm really sad that next episode is Reach. I was hoping we was going to get a little bit more in terms of episodes, so we could kind of flesh out Master Chief a little bit more to our liking, I guess. But have they confirmed a season 2 yet for Halo, or is this only?
Yes, season 2 has been confirmed.
Thank God, because I would hate this to be a one and done.
Before season 1 was even premiered, Paramount greenlit season 2.
Thank God. because I really want to see what happens going forward. So far, despite all the online complaints and people crying, like in every other fandom that we have now, everybody cries about everything.
It's just the loud ones, Justin.
Well, even they need to get alive. But anywho's, it's enjoyable. If you don't know, God, think about Halo. This will suck you in. You want to learn more. I mean, just the backstory and everything. But when you go back and play all the old video games, but
This isn't the Halo you grew up with, people.
no, it's not. And thank God for that, because that original storyline was a disjointed mess.
It wasn't really. Well, no, the modern Halo storyline is just disjointed mess.
Like I said,
Once they put humanity as an ancient species beside the Forerunners, and that humanity was seeded to supersede them after the conflict with the Flood, which was actually the remnants of a proto civilization that came before the Forerunners.
When Bungie had to give up Halo, that's when the story fell apart.
Pretty much.
Infinite wasn't bad. I like what they did with that.
I gotta say, I like Infinite too. So far, it's okay. Let's hope they don't fuck it up with DLC.
We'll see.
The night is young.
Halo's a live service now, so anything can happen.
Everything's live service now.
And fun fact, folks, as we finish up our reviews, if anybody else has anything to say real quick, we will be down to, let's see here, one show for about 2 to 3 weeks.
What are we going to do with ourselves? Maybe
we'll be down to one. We'll be down to one show for 2 weeks until the Boys and Orville premiere, because we won't get.
We're not covering Orville. No, I'm kidding.
Yes,
I'm kidding.
Feel free to send us story ideas in the Facebook group, folks.
Yeah, for those of you who have ideas and want to see us discuss it, by all means, let us know.
Yeah, because we could usually gush for hours and hours on end with our show topics. It's been a while since we've only had one main show topic. I mean, because
we can certainly argue in circles and circles and circles and circles.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we used to cover the CW stuff, but that stuff has sucked for a while now.
And a bunch of it's been canceled.
But not the right ones. Not the right ones. Cancel the Flash, please. Greg?
Not much longer.
Greg? Bueller?
Did we lose Greg?
He just suddenly offed himself.
Uh-oh.
In Minecraft.
Minecraft. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, I lost my train of fucking thought. I hate that.
I have a bit of news.
Let's hear it.
Bethesda has announced that they're delaying both the release of Starfield and further the Elder Scrolls 6 Redfall.
Not surprised. Starfield.
The one with Starfield, though, it's weird because their PR statement was that people like the devs on the team were, quote unquote, worried about this being the next Cyberpunk 2077. And I'm like, my God, you're Bethesda. Do you not realize you had your own Cyberpunk 2077 with 76?
Mm-hmm. Or maybe they're learning from their mistakes, because, like, I think a few people commented on a lack of, gameplay playthrough. Because most games like that, big games like that, will have a playthrough coming through. Breaks back, by now. When original release was November.
That's what Bethesda used to have when they. I mean, that's what they would do at E3. Like going all the way back to Oblivion, they had an entire press-only E3 closed-door demo of Oblivion that they wound up releasing later online for people to view. And actually had modders that took the UI elements from that demo to put into the game because the devs removed it from the game.
Well, 76 is certainly improved, and what would a Bethesda game be without delays? I imagine the Microsoft acquisition shook things up a bit and potentially caused a few delays as well.
Maybe Starfield would become multiplayer. It would be a fun multiplayer.
Probably not.
Speaking of delays, there was an interesting bit of news out of Nintendo.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of the company, but it's rumored to be that Nintendo will be busting out a new console in 2 years, not next year, which then points to them possibly postponing Breath of the Wild 2 again, because the director Aonuma said that Breath of the Wild 2 would not be at its full capacity of playability on the Switch. So, Breath of the Wild fans, Legend of Zelda fans, get ready for another delay.
It's been a while since we got an actual Nintendo console minus the Switch. So
Nintendo's actually going through its own gaming space shakeup too at the moment.
Yep. The Nintendo of America staff is quite dissatisfied at the moment.
Well, like
that's an understatement.
It's not just that; it's over at Nintendo Japan as well.
Oh.
How I was railing for quite a while about how they talk about crunch culture and shit at these other gaming studios here in the U.S. and they literally gave the new lead guy for Zelda, Aonuma, they gave him 12 months to make Majora's Mask. And I don't mean 12 months and then a release line. I mean from the start to the first game being sold publicly was 12 months. No ifs, ands, or buts.
They did the soundtrack in 24 hours.
And as much as you're talking about like sexual harassment stuff coming out of Nintendo of America right now, there's a bunch of there's basically a cultural uproar with the youth working at Nintendo in Japan over crunch culture. And it's not just at Nintendo either. It is kind of amazing that it's starting with Nintendo because Nintendo's kind of always been forward thinking in a bunch of respects, but it's been filtering out into the other businesses in Japan because of the youth of Japan going, look, this is going to kill us. We've already seen what it's done to our parents and our parents' parents. This isn't sustainable.
Yeah, Japan is pretty notorious for having a very poor work culture in general.
And to an extent it's an idolization of what our work culture was in the 60s and 70s.
I mean, it's so bad it's affected their birth rate.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. To the point where they're trying to import men to make more babies.
Oh God!
I'll take myself a Japanese one. What?
Leia, get him.
On that note, there's one more topic, and Justin might boot me, but before he does, Orville drops a new trailer. Orville. Wait for it. Hold on. No, I'm still here. Okay.
Yeah, you're Justin.
He told me to do it.
He didn't tell you to do it. He was bracing himself for you to do it, which is not the time to do it. You need to do it when it's unexpected. Like last week before I showed up. That was good.
Orville New Horizons, premiering June 2nd, dropped a new trailer, giving us a great look at the show.
And last season.
Keeping the humor alive, the stakes, however, are
Wait a minute.
Okay, get to your point, son.
It's called Orville New Horizons. Is it for the Nintendo Switch?
That would be the opportune time, Justin.
Yes.
But the moment's passed now.
Yes. So, but with the Orville, we get a first look. While Justin's over there. So with Orville New Horizons, we get an amazing look with this trailer. It starts off with Seth giving a recital of the poem with Ozymandias, King of Kings. And while his closure of the poem is not obviously verbatim, but it's an ominous message as he says, "Look in the desert, there's nothing there," which may send an ominous message. We get a full look at the trailer. The war with the Kalon is ongoing. That's still very much a vital threat to the Union and the Krill alike. We see that the Krill and the Union are a young alliance. I would equate it to like the uneasiness between the Klingons and the Federation. The Krill give the Union permission. You may go through our space, but with an ominous message, don't expect us to help you. So it's like, okay, we can go ahead and fly through there, see what happens. Of course, we constantly see battles from the Kalon. We're gonna get, I would say, a very much more racial tone towards Isaac, because in the trailer we do see Isaac look on a wall and it says murderer.
Rip off a
So
TOS. Rip off a TOS.
anyway, but Isaac's gonna have a lot to deal with. A quote from Penny Gerald as Dr. Finn saying, "The best thing, the most forbidden things are sweet," and of course that
Rip off
referring
a,
to forbidden fruit. We
rip
get
off a
also
TOS.
we get a speech by Captain Mercer himself about going into unexplored space, seeking out the unknown, and ending it with, "May the Force be with you." Star Wars is Orville canon.
Yep.
Only they can do that
so
because of Disney.
exactly. So being the resident Orville expert and hype man for the show, I love the trailer. I'm very much looking forward to it, and they have Gordon deliver a beautiful note about we've all saved each other's lives, we all owe each other our lives, and that's what it's all about. Gordon being real, it's that's what we get. So this show is very much going to be, I would love to say, on the edge of your seat with what we're going to see with the Kalon War. But the show is going to be up to an hour, no commercials. Like, these episodes are going to be much longer than the predecessors, a much bigger budget, couple new characters, and also for those who will hear Yaphet, this is Norm Macdonald's last hurrah. So we will get to enjoy Norm Macdonald one more time when season 3 premieres for the Orville. But I'd like to know, what did you guys think of the new trailer for Orville if you've seen it?
I really liked it. I've enjoyed the Orville for what it is, and this new trailer looks really good. It looks like Star Trek straight out of the early 2000s.
Almost.
Yeah. I mean,
what was that role?
It's almost like it's a rich man's cosplay. Oh, shocker!
But in seriousness, there's a lot to like in this trailer. I think they're doing some interesting things. I like the idea of exploring the young alliance between the Krill and the Union. I'm hoping to see Mercer's Krill girlfriend again. Isaac's social backlash from the ongoing war is going to be interesting. Very reminiscent of Odo during the Dominion War. I'm curious to see where this goes. I just hope we get a little less Mocklin this time around.
I'll
go with that.
I want a little bit of originality. I really want them to stop ripping off Star Trek, and they can do their own thing. They did it. They did their own thing.
But Strange New Worlds ripped off Orville.
Star Trek has had 50 plus years of making sci-fi. There's no way in hell you can make something completely fucking original and not step in Star Trek at some point.
Which is Orville every episode.
And Star Trek ripped everything off of Westerns in the 60s.
Original
Western space.
Wagon Train to the Stars. There is nothing new under the sun. Everything comes and is inspired by something. Orville takes a lot of inspiration from Star Trek, but it should be appreciated as something on its own.
And not Star Trek.
Just imagine
something.
Just imagine if the Isaac hate episode is more Blazing Saddles than it is Star Trek.
That was actually
Oh.
fun.
I could see
Wow,
Seth doing that.
I
Well,
can
he
see
is a
Seth doing
fan.
it.
He is a known fan of Blazing Saddles.
But he also, this could be, if he has the way of taking the Isaac episode one of two ways, because we've seen a version of better Measure of a Man and the Borg Best of Both Worlds. So now we're going to see, is he going to do Blazing Saddles, or is he going to do oh my god, I just lost it.
That's your man.
Oh wow. Sorry, another Orville episode where about a girl dealing with the whole not problem, but in the show with the Mocklins. Is he
Oh,
going to take that serious route with it? Is he going to have that kind of thing where he's like not much humor and making more of a point?
How awesome would it be if he did a Blazing Saddles riff and actually got Mel Brooks on the show?
Oh god, that'd be great. That'd be absolute. That would be
aren't
legend
they
right
friends though?
Mel Brooks
Yes.
is the judge in the To Kill a Mockingbird episode, where they put Isaac on trial for the sins of his entire race.
Neat. All right. Who else has some thoughts on the Orville trailer?
It was all right for what it was. The audio threw me off on the things because he kept whenever Steph's speech, it would go him talking, and then it sounded like he was talking on a damn telephone. I mean, usually whenever they do these speeches, they have some type of boom mechanism, whatever. It sounds like it's coming from a loudspeaker, not a fucking telephone. It threw me off. I don't know if anyone else felt like that or not, but for what it is, it's all right. I'll give it a watch. It is on its own. It can be all right.
And
Raul?
for those wondering, oh, go ahead.
Nothing negative on the show, but I'm not an Orville fan.
But
That's
Captain
fair.
Mercer, he's the best Star Trek captain since Captain Pike.
And
Greg,
I agree on.
You're asking for a bruising. Yes.
Okay, that was good, Justin.
That was
That
good.
was appropriate. Okay.
But for those fans wondering, Hulu will be releasing it, of course, on June 3rd. It will be available in the majority of countries Hulu is available, so they won't be making the mistake Paramount has done with Picard, Strange New Worlds, and Discovery, where people across the sea have to wait months at a time. Hulu will be distributing to looks like about 50 countries right off the bat.
Well, Hulu has international distribution deals that Paramount does not.
Paramount had time though; they could have done it. But yeah, so Hulu will be able to distribute very quickly. So June 3rd will be the premiere date for.
Disney is the master race.
So yes, June 3rd Orville, June 2nd Orville,
Excuse
and June
you,
3rd.
Justin. Disney
of
is the Mouster race.
Okay, I stand corrected.
But yeah,
Until Mickey's in the public domain.
Yes, Mickey will be in the public domain. Okay, we'll close the show with that topic because how do I put this? Not to get it. I'm okay with Mickey Mouse going public domain. It's just like I agree with Ross. The way they're doing it is not right.
Yeah, I'm not one risking political discussion. I'm not I'm not one to agree with that senator in particular. But Disney's held on to Mickey Mouse for long enough, and the public domain delay has gotten obscenely long.
It's at 96 years now. You said on that.
96 years after the passing of the original creator. Originally, it was 50 years after its creation.
Okay.
But then it was changed and changed and changed, primarily through the influence of Disney.
Yep.
So
I mean, it's not like they're doing anything with Mickey Mouse right now, anyway. So I mean,
well, there's a reason that they put Steamboat Willie in all of their promo and introductory art to show legally that they are still using this thing.
Yep.
Disney has also extended the creators' rights, though, for everybody that has ever come after the Mickey Mouse. So it's good for the creator as well as for creators in mass as well as Disney.
But that only works if you're not working for Disney.
Yeah.
No. I'm talking about if you, let's say, son, you make your fish lady a character and you trademark it. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you're now protected because Disney's defending their.
Yeah, no, that I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is that only works if you're not working for Disney. Because if you're working for Disney, all of whatever the hell you make belongs to them.
Yeah, of course. The thing about having a job for somebody else, for sure.
All right. Let's wrap things up with our final topic of the night. What are we watching? Let's lead with you, son. What have you been watching this week?
So today, so last week's Saturday matinee was Batteries Not Included, which is an amazingly charming 80s movie that is quintessentially 80s.
Holds up well.
Tube televisions, you know, that kind of stuff. Oh, limousines with car phones. Yeah. Very 80s. This week, because of a comment that was made in a discussion I was having about horror games, I showed an audience of 2, which I'm really still mad about because all of the people who were like, I don't understand this, is like, I'm not going to show up for a horror movie. Alien is not a horror movie.
It's on the cusp though. There are
The
a lot
original
of people
Alien is not a horror movie. It is a
It's a
thriller
suspense.
movie that
Yeah.
is
It's a
way
thriller.
too fucking quiet. Like, I watched Alien, like, I was able to sit and watch the entirety of Alien for the first time while I was stuck in a hospital. You can only turn the volume up so much on those TVs in a hospital. Even showing it today, like right here, able to manipulate the volume and turn it up all the way. Aliens is a stupidly quiet movie.
Mhm.
It's ridiculous because at some points it's even so quiet that the conversations being had are like muffled whispering. And I think that's why Cameron got to direct Aliens. Because Cameron likes to be very, very loud.
That's true.
So, yeah.
Look at Avatar.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, like I showed an audience of 2 the Alien movie, the original, and well, they enjoyed it for what they watched. This is another problem I'm discovering. Half of the people watching don't stay engaged. Even when I'm like typing in the chat, trying to keep them engaged with like little tidbits and like the pop-up video that MTV used to do with music videos and shit. I'll like type little tidbits and stuff. They go off halfway through and start playing video games or something, and it's like, God, it's really disheartening to do this because I can't keep their attention.
It's the cost. It's the curse of Zoomers and Generation Y.
Well, I mean, it's part of my generation as well. I mean, it's
Not lying.
It's something that is it's really difficult to say because it's in my generation it would be a mental disorder like ADD, ADHD. But because of us having constant fast access and instant gratification and all that stuff, it's not like ADD and ADHD anymore. It's literally just culturally everywhere.
Okay, this is what we are watching, not the discussion topic. We need to keep moving. Go.
Okay, well, go ahead, Justin. Tell us what you've been watching this week.
Well, I mean, son, we're trying to do things quick. It's not, being mean or anything, but we
Then stop talking and tell us what you've been watching this week.
don't tell me to stop talking. You don't control this. You don't get to do this.
Let's cool down. Cool
No,
down.
I'm done. I'm tired of
Okay.
Raul,
Okay.
what have you been watching?
I've been watching Peaky Blinders the entire season, and it's been pretty intense.
What season are you on? Real
I'm
quick.
on. I finished the whole thing.
Okay, get ready for this one. Tom Hardy comes back for the final season.
Really?
They're be doing one more season, and Tom Hardy's coming back.
Oh, great. That should be interesting. They've had a lot of good guest stars as villains, and they have like people like Adrian Brody playing a mafia hitman, which was terrifying. If you can imagine this very sympathetic character actor, Adrian Brody, playing like a mafioso Italian American hitman, and I mean, and that's just one aspect of the good acting in this series. It is probably my top 5 crime based stuff, and that's including stuff like The Wire, which is my number one, absolutely number one. Um, the Peaky Blinders is amazing. I would highly recommend it for all the audience.
All right, very cool. Who hasn't gone yet?
I'll go.
All right.
Yeah,
Watching the atypical Halo and Strange New Worlds, and damn, we don't have much to watch in the next couple of weeks. I've just been keeping up with Nathan Fillion's show, The Rookie. It's a procedural cop drama on Hulu, but it's been fun. I believe I talked about finishing Attack on Titan season 4 part 2. That was intense. There will be one more part 3 to season 4 coming out next year. Other than that, I've just actually been playing the Call of Duty Warzone, the Godzilla versus Kong. That's that is just straight up monsters, titans fighting, and it's brainless fun. I don't care, it's brainless fun. But that's what I've been doing this past week.
All right, thank you, Justin. Are you ready?
I'm sorry. I'm too irritated to go. Just skip this week.
All righty.
I'm just
Okay,
I'm
just
done. I'm just done. I'm sorry.
As for me, let's see. Yeah, the stool is not comfortable, and I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to stare at my gut the whole time. So,
No, not really.
oh, where's Ray? Where's Ray? Did we lose Ray?
No, we haven't lost her. She's just waiting for this to get done so she can go to sleep. As for me, most the usual YouTube stuff. Ruva Albafuza released the latest episode, the conclusion of the first arc of Hunter the Parenting, a fan animation based in the world of darkness, is specifically Hunter the Reckoning, in which a group, a small family group, is dipping their toes into the wider world of vampires, werewolves, and other creatures of the night. They captured a bunch of vampires to question them about their cabal. They're of the Sabbat, and through the course of their interrogations, the less experienced of them decide to let the vampires have a little battle royale and diablerize each other. So the Nosferatu of the group comes out on top and is insanely powerful and is now hunting them all in the house and beyond. Thankfully, the patriarch is a bit of a nut job, dug landmines in the front yard, and with a couple illegal English firearms, they were able to subdue the creature just in time for dawn. And shortly after that, the cops rolled up. So, a really fun animation, neat story, just enjoyable all around. So, that's been me this week. All right,
And
that will...
Ross, where can people find you?
I was about to say, that will wrap up our show for tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to follow us, you can find me at Live Love Play here on Twitch, live_love_play. I do mini painting, play games, and all sorts of fun stuff. Greg, where can people find you?
If you're already watching in the right place, but in case you're wondering, you can find me twitch.tv/Mongoose Gaming Burrow.
Justin.
That is not the right place. The right place is twitch.tv, the real Super Geeks.
Yes.
Sun.
You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Sunciel. I play games on Sundays and Tuesdays, and we're kind of wrapping up Windbound on Tuesdays, and we're doing Stardew Valley Expanded, which is a complete overhaul mod for Stardew Valley, on Sundays. So come hang out, chill vibes, and fall asleep maybe.
Raul, do you have some place where people can find you?
Absolutely not. Never.
Probably safer
Carl-
that way for Raul.
He's at the bottom of a lake at the Kelpian planet.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Carlos isn't here this week, but if you care to find him, you can find him over at Axomonitor.
Or in Ross's dungeon back at his house.
That too.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching us again. Have a wonderful night, a good weekend, a good start to your week, and until then, remember to live, to love, and to play every day. Son?
Remember, sweeties, the world is a crazy place right now, but you are loved and appreciated by just your being you.
Play us out, Justin.
Now it is.